Hey everyone, welcome back to the Horror Fan 88 channel. I'm back once again for another video. Welcome to my Evil Dead series review, where I'll be reviewing every Evil Dead film, of course, leading up to Evil Dead Rise coming very soon, which in all honesty is probably my most anticipated film of the year. I am an Evil Dead fanatic. Evil Dead, along with Halloween, of course, are my top two franchises. Spoiler alert for whenever I review Evil Dead 2, but Evil Dead 2 and Halloween are tied for my favorite movie of all time. They're pretty much both my number one. And I just absolutely adore this franchise. And when it comes to Evil Dead Rise, I hope that it's another excellent entry into this franchise, because I know I'm not the only one that feels like this, but to me, the Evil Dead franchise is insanely consistent and, in my opinion, does not have a single bad entry in the franchise. From the original trilogy to the 2013 film to all three seasons of Ash vs. Evil Dead, with video games and comic books, etc. To me, it's just an amazing franchise. And of course, today we are taking a look at the original The Evil Dead. So, why I'm holding up my VHS copy is because I do have a little story to go along with this, and pretty much my first viewing of the film and when I saw it and everything. So, before we get to the review, I will talk a little bit about that. So, pretty much, the first time I ever saw Evil Dead was when I was a kid, and I found the VHS at a yard sale. Now, of course, this isn't my original VHS copy. Mine looked like this, with Ash Williams on the cover with the shotgun and the axe. And, by that point, I was already well into watching horror movies and loving them. So, when I took that VHS home and put it in my VCR and watched it, it genuinely creeped me the hell out. And I think that's what struck me so hard about it, is because The Evil Dead was really the first film to do that to me, to actually creep me out. And of course, the film being on such a low budget, I think that added to the fact that I watched it on VHS, which of course gives it that more grainy and dirty look to it, altogether made for much more an exciting experience, and one that has stuck with me for so many years. And yeah, of course, the original Evil Dead by today's standards, many people would consider to just be laughable, looking cheap, and just kind of funny. But to me, it was seriously effective when I was a kid. And to me, of course, things in this film don't age well, but to me, that kind of adds to the charm of it, and we will get to some of that. But pretty much the basic story of The Evil Dead: you have a group of friends going to a cabin in the middle of the woods. Of course, you have Ash, played by Bruce the Man Campbell. And Ash Williams is probably my favorite movie character of all time. Like, I love Ash freaking Williams. But of course, you have Ash, his girlfriend Linda, sister Cheryl, friend Scotty, and Scotty's girlfriend Shelly. Now, they all get to the cabin, and right away, the atmosphere is set. It looks creepy as hell, as well as it just looks awesome. But, certain details about it, like the swing on the porch slowly knocking into the cabin, and the moment Scotty steps up on the porch, it stops. And, just the fog and the dust inside the cabin and the freaking tool shed, it's all extremely creepy, and it sets the mood. But pretty much what sets the film in motion, of course, Scotty and Ash go down into the cellar, and they find the Necronomicon, or as they call it in this movie, the Naturum Demonto, aka Book of the Dead. They find the Kandarian dagger, and what really happens is when they start playing the recording they find, and it's Professor Noby, of course, citing the passages from the Book of the Dead, raising the demons and stuff like that. And, one very cool thing about this film is the way that it's shot. I think Sam Raimi did an excellent job directing this. And, there are so many great shots in this film that are really, like, experimental and just overall work really well. And of course, I'm kind of jumping around with the review, but, I'm sure many of us have seen The Evil Dead. But the thing about, how this film was made, you know, originally Sam Raimi had kind of a student film called Within the Woods. And that was pretty much a prequel to The Evil Dead that actually had Bruce Campbell in it, and he was pretty much the demon in the movie. And the thing about filming The Evil Dead is that it was pretty much hell for everyone filming. This movie took like 2 years to complete. People got hurt. The conditions were rough. But throughout all the blood, sweat, and tears, I think that they delivered a fantastic horror film. One that spawned a franchise. And yeah, let's talk about the effects and the gore real quick. So, as I've stated many times, this film did have a very low budget. And of course, the effects, they don't age, and they're not really technically good a lot of the times. Like, you will see blood tubes, you will see makeup peeling off the fingers, but like I said, to me, that adds to the charm of the film. And to me, the coolest looking Deadite would have to be Cheryl. Because to me, that is one of the coolest looking demon designs ever. And it genuinely looks terrifying. And the thing about Ash in this film is that, of course, Ash, the one-liner spitting badass that we all know and love, really didn't show up till Evil Dead 2 and then Army of Darkness. Because in this film, the character of Scotty was kind of much more of the quote-unquote Ash character. Ash, for the most part, was getting smacked around a lot and cowering in the corner, and for the most part, just became the final person. And I do think that, the acting can be cheesy here and there, but I just love it. I love everything about this film. And, I think that on the subject of great shots again, like the amazing scene where Ash once again goes into the cellar, but then the blood starts dripping from everywhere, and the projector turns on, the blood drips on the projector, and an image of blood running down on Ash. And that is just fantastic. It looks amazing. Yeah. And, just overall, The Evil Dead, I love it. The amount of gore in this movie is insane. I know that at the time of this coming out, of course, it got banned in several places. Because, when it comes to The Evil Dead is known for extreme violence and gore. And with the original, the gore is much more in that disturbing way, where it happens and you're almost like, oh shit. Whereas in the sequels, the gore is to a comedic level. Like, Ash will shoot the wall, and then all of a sudden an absolute geyser of blood just hit him in like a comedic way. But the way that they did it in the original is super effective, and I just love everything. I love the "join us" that you hear in the woods, and yeah. I mean, there's not much else I could say about The Evil Dead that many of us probably don't already know. But to me, it is a classic horror film that I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. And it's a franchise that I hold very close to my heart. And hell, as I said, I'm holding up my VHS, and I'm planning on doing my complete Evil Dead collection down the line. And, of course, I got this movie on VHS, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. But it still makes me happy that I can still watch this on VHS and experience it like the first time I did. So with that being said, the original Evil Dead I absolutely love. It's a classic in my opinion. And yeah, with that being said, I really hope you enjoyed this review. Let me know what you think of the Evil Dead down in the comments, and stay tuned for my review of Evil Dead 2. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. I will see you on the next one. Peace out.